BABSCON? Are you hearing him?
Okay, great. So
I'm pretty loud.
So welcome to this thing. We were kind of commenting, this looks a little sparser than we're used to, but part of it is that we were allowed to name our panel whatever we wanted, so I thought I would just name it the title of the episode. So I was surprised by the people who walked up to us at the table, and I was like, oh yeah, we're doing a thing, and everybody was like, whoa, really? I can't wait to see it. So we probably should have put like, I don't know, Dom Somewhere Presents, Need Variety, or something.
In typical Greg fashion, you cannot name anything in a marketable way.
You cannot trust me to name a single thing. I will name a song drifting backwards through a pile of angry wet cats. Yeah, I'd be fine with that.
Could you please stick Rainbow Dash Presents in there to help with the SEO?
Absolutely not.
No.
SEO can help itself.
Is your mic on?
I don't know. You told me it was. You can all hear me. Okay,
yeah, there we go.
Much better.
That's better.
All right, for those in the back. So, yes, we have a new thing. It's going to take like 5 minutes, and then we are going to stretch for an hour and try to keep you from falling asleep for the rest of that hour. So we'll do like Q&A and stuff. We have got Scooter Tricks with us. He's not at all involved in this project, but I like to bring people up on stage with us because it's fun. We have the power, and only at cons like this do we get power to drag people anywhere. So never squander that. And then Federer, of course, the artist. I'm the artist. I'm Federer. This is the world famous, although he's retired from the world fame, so you may have forgotten. Artisan Bubblegum. Artisan's been part of the community for a long time. He helps us set things up on our servers and things like that. So we do activities. Artisan's always there. He's been there for ages. Good friend of mine. And I'm Greg. And I do the voices.
Hi, Greg.
Hi.
Just out of curiosity, is there anyone who doesn't know who we are, who just came here just to be here?
Hey!
You should explain who we are, Greg.
Give him a chance. Yeah.
His idea.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, if you're disappointed, keep it to yourself. But you can post angry comments online. I will read them.
I'm pretty sure this is going to get copyrighted, so yay!
You can also share your angry opinions, but later.
Okay.
Later. Okay. So anyway, though, I guess we may as well just start it, and then after that, the stretching begins.
Okay.
Oh, we don't have audio. We lost our audio.
Oh no.
I need to know. Why did shit stop? Stop teasing us!
Sunshine.
Dinner's ready.
Are you having fun?
This is part of this. These are part of the stretching. Yeah.
We had, this is all orchestrated. We planned specifically to have technical difficulties for the first 45 minutes. And this will spare us from the Q&A. We already know you're going to ask, where did sunshine come from? And that is a difficult conversation.
Who's Sunshine?
Who is sun?
Who knows?
Who's Sunshine? Why is the dinner ready? What is the dinner?
Is it lasagna?
What's the menu?
Where did vampire people come from?
That's a good question.
That's actually a better question.
Where's Garfield?
Scooter Tricks, where do you think that vampire Pinkie Pie came from?
She's just always.
Who are those people?
She's just always been a bad
Sunshine!
Yay! Woo!
Alright, let's begin this for real.
Sunshine! Dinner's ready!
Lasagna.
You asked me to make lasagna.
I hate lasagna.
You asked me to make it.
I told you 1,000.
What happened? I don't know.
It was just there.
Sunshine!
It was just working.
Wait, is her daughter named Sunshine?
Your
Her daughter's name is Sunshine.
Yes.
Mind blown. Who's the father?
Who's the father is one of the questions that we're gonna have to dodge for the entire rest of this event because.
So they're never gonna call on me. That's your question.
You won't like me.
Well, based on the main, I vote her brother.
Sunshine! Dinner's ready!
Lasagna.
You asked me to make lasagna.
I hate lasagna.
You asked me to make it.
I told you 1,000 times I hate lasagna.
I asked you 3 times, and you said lasagna. Sunshine, eat your lasagna.
I want something
Why
else.
you asked for lasagna?
I want something
I have
else.
to get the door, okay? Eat your dinner.
Hey, Twilight.
What?
Are you having dinner?
Yes, we're having lasagna.
I hate lasagna.
Good. Go away.
Wait, I don't have anything to eat.
Because you're at my house, which is not a restaurant.
Please, Twilight, I don't know where else to go.
A restaurant.
But they're all chains now, Twilight. I don't recognize these places anymore. They're all the same, but I don't know the ponies. Mommy, can she have my lasagna?
No, because if you're out here and not in the dining room eating your lasagna, it must be because it was already eaten.
It's too cold.
I just put it out. It can't be too cold.
It's too hot, I mean. I'm waiting for it to cool down.
Sunshine, go eat your lasagna.
I just want something else.
You asked for lasagna.
You made it wrong.
Honey, I swear to you, Mommy is not very creative when it comes to cooking. I barely know ricotta from maracas. I follow the recipe. It is always the same every time.
I'll eat her lasagna, Twilight. Aunt Dash can eat my lasagna.
Ash, you just complained you hate lasagna.
I'll still eat it though.
I didn't make lasagna for you.
I'll clean my whole plate. I'm a very good eater.
Sunshine, what else do you want?
Homemade pizza.
Sweetie, it'll take an hour for me to do homemade pizza.
I could go for homemade pizza.
A lasagna is a pizza. Anyway, because it's just cheese and sauce with some toppings and a wheat-based substrate. It's the same.
No, pizza is not lasagna.
You can't just kill pizza like that. Why are you here? Aren't the Wonderbolts supposed to be feeding you or something?
Oh, we're having another fight. We were having a disagreement about where a couch should go, and then they brought up that time I broke from the routine and that guy had to get surgery, and then I threw some dishes and I knocked over a few lockers, and now we're not talking.
I should have fight with the Wonderbolts pretty much every week.
I fight with you all the time, and we're still friends.
Yeah, but we don't share a barracks or a mess hall. Which is why I'm not gonna make you dinner.
No, I don't want to be alone. You don't understand. You got Sunshine and lasagna that she doesn't even want to eat. I'll eat it.
Look, maybe you can start your own team. Be a coach. Maybe go down to Pony Joe's and scout out some hopefuls.
Oh, they bought Pony Joe's. It's in McPone's now.
Oh, right. Well, what about the fat grease spoon?
No, that's in McPone's too.
Oh, dang. I love their hamburgers, but they always make me sick. What about, that drag bar that Rarity took us to on her birthday?
It's a rarities for you.
She turned it into a rarities for you?
Which I guess is good, since that means they're competing for customers.
Where do ponies meet each other?
Mommy, can I have a quesadilla?
Sweetie, that's just cheese. You can't have just cheese for dinner. Or at least not as often as you do.
Please?
Okay, look. I'll make a pizza. I'll eat the lasagna. Dash, you can stay.
Thanks, Twilight. Can I get black olives on mine? I hate black olives.
Sunshine, you haven't even tried black olives. You turned off? There we go. Are we back on?
Yeah, okay. So we could read this to you, but one of the joys is that we won't. And so funny thing, the very end kicker on this is something like, we hope that you've enjoyed this, whatever.
This has been a mentally advanced.
Yeah, this has been
content
mentally
for you,
advanced. Yeah, and I have been using the exact same JPEG for that since I first started any pony content at all, and it has been like getting
more degraded over time.
Yeah, it's been getting more degraded over time because I transferred from computer to computer. Like, it's been so long. So I sent this to Pederek, and he looked at it and he's like, "This thing's all artifacted and messed up," and he touched it up. He fixed it, which is like moving the Leaning Tower of Pisa over so it's no longer leaning. completely.
This slide.
Yeah, here it is. There's no stuck pixels or anything. It's just like a normal slide.
I'm sorry, I'm an adamant professional.
Yeah, ruined. And for the web release, we're gonna fix that mistake. Yeah. So you guys get to see the damaged version. But yes, all this stuff. This is as you can probably guess. I had a kid at some point, and a lot of this is based on fatherhood, pretty much. I am actually the family chef, and I have had that argument with my child, not just once or twice, but every single night for the past 3 years, maybe. So the lasagna thing actually was true. My son asked me for lasagna, and he meant pizza, but he forgot the word. So he insisted lasagna, 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 and then I made it, and he realized my mistake, and it was a meltdown, you know. So every night we do this, and then what he does is he throws the fit, and then he won't eat, and then in the night, my wife will cook him a quesadilla because he can't go to bed hungry. So the quesadilla thing comes up, and
Something else has happened since the last time we've been here that hasn't been addressed yet.
what's that?
You grew a mustache.
Oh yes, I grew a mustache. I started doing that as soon as my wife became pregnant because the mustache is where you store all of your fatherly authority. I don't know if you guys know that that's the problem with the youth of today is you guys aren't growing mustaches anymore. Apparently, people say that this is a 70s thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got the dad shoes, you got the whole look, you're good to go.
I got the dad look, yes. I've always been a father at heart, which is to say older, I feel like, than I was. But now I'm finally caught up to my age. Now I'm finally dad.
Actually as old as you feel.
No, I'm as old as I feel. Yeah. I feel a little older even. The first time I threw up my back was picking my son up from the crib. And that was a terrible experience. But, eventually led to this. And so all that time, that's what really prompted me to, I've been thinking for a while about like, oh, where are they now kind of thing. But instead of worrying about whatever happened in all the episodes and everything, because we get into season 9 and they blow up the planet and
They go Dragon Ball Z and they fight.
They fight Tyrek. Yeah, Tyrek is a crack up. That was only season 4.
Yeah,
but yeah,
they kept going.
Yeah, that was one of the strangest things because to me, like I was watching that and they're like, yeah, Tyrek, he eats magic. And I'm thinking like, oh, of course, yes, they'll have to outsmart him. And then they just become more magical than he is and just blow him up with more magic. Like, yeah, all right, great. So, we didn't have to worry about all that. It's all, that's all done. Now we just worry about where the child won't eat his lasagna because it was supposed to be pizza.
And all the chains that I'm familiar with, or all the local businesses with replacement
They're all
chains.
gone. They're all gone. Yeah.
I don't know what to do anymore.
I don't know where to go. Yeah. But anyway, though, we were going to do some questions. Although I have a story, I guess, that we could stretch for time. But we had questions. One of the ones that we had was, why is Pinky a vampire? Which Scooter Tricks, he gave the correct answer. Pinky has always been a vampire. You just didn't notice. If you go back and you watch the previous episodes, knowing now what to look for, and you think that you realize she was hiding it, it'll make perfect sense. She has always been a vampire. So
Doesn't Pinky look like the bride?
she didn't really hide it all the time. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, Haunting Nightmare was just blatantly obvious. Cupcakes, Yeah.
She comes back from the dead.
Comes back from the dead on occasion. Yeah. It's all there. It's all there.
It's all there.
Yeah.
It's in the text.
So do we have any other questions? And don't feel pressured because I have like a monologue I could give you. Yeah, yes.
Yes, regarding your real-life sunshine and the lasagna pizza confusion, have you thought of creating a picture menu?
A picture menu. I could, but that's a lot of work as a parent.
Look on Amazon.
Do what?
Look on Amazon.
Look on Amazon. Oh, for a picture menu?
You should pull it up on your phone. Like, are you sure this is what you want?
Is this the thing?
This is a picture of a lasagna. This is what you want? Okay.
Part of the problem, you'll do like homemade pizza, but then you put the wrong thing on it. You like put some, like a mushroom on it, and it's poison. You
Get off. You have to start over.
Yes, start all the way over. And this was bad even before I had a kid because I cook by heart. I don't like to do recipes, so I get to learn like how much of anything I put into everything. And sometimes I'll make something, my wife loves it. She's like, how did you do this? Can you do it again? And I'm like, I don't know. made it with the heart. If the heart wills again, we'll have good food again. so that's my chef. That's my chef stuff. But anyway, you got any questions? Scooter Tricks, do you have any questions?
Oh man. What happened to Celestia?
What happened to Celestia? Nothing. Celestia is forever. She will burn out when the sun does. That's actually an interesting question because I had a lot of plans and like a lot of headcanon for the Mentally Advanced series, Rainbow Dash Presents and everything. And one big thing was like the politics going on with Celestia. So originally, the reason why she snagged Twilight for any of this wasn't necessarily because Twilight was the best pony or anything else. It was because she was connected to the mob. And Twilight did not know this. She just had an uncle who was connected to the mob. But they were very close family. So she had said, she like roped Sunshine, Shining Armor, and Twilight. She roped them all in real close to her spirit. And basically it was kind of like, if you mess with me, I will snuff out your entire family. 3 generations of Sparkles, dead. And that was the whole angle, really, the whole time. But yeah, Celestia's gone nowhere. But the crime family has kind of fizzled out. Celestia's just ignoring them by this point in their lives. So,
Seems like Twilight's happier for it.
Twilight's better off, yes. Yeah, so.
She's given up alcoholism. Good for her.
She gave up on the alcohol too, the first thing. Yes?
2 things. First of all, I think there's a typo on page 3 of the whole text that you did.
Oh, there's those. We get typos in those all the time.
But also, what happened to Rainbow Dash's kidney? It looks like she's missing a kidney.
Oh, she has money trouble occasionally.
It's good money.
Yeah.
You have to, you don't need.
Yeah, you'd think the Wonderbolts would pay well, and they do. But, like, imagine Rainbow Dash's insurance premiums. They are a mess. So.
She had to sell her kidney to pay for her kidney surgery.
Fix the other one. Now, the problem with being so fast is it's like trying to insure a McLaren F1. Yes?
Did Rainbow Dash ever finish college?
I don't think she had to, really.
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
in
because the
Bittersweet.
opposite
Yeah. Well, wasn't that all just a lie? She was lying to her parents about.
Oh, the college, yes, and
Yeah.
everything else like that. I just need a little bit more money. Yeah, I just kind of gave into the whole thing. Like, there, I had qualms with stuff like Rainbow Dash getting into the Wonderbolts when that happened in the show. But by now we're so far behind us. I was okay. Like, happened. She took a single exam and then they were like, yes, yeah. She's one of the elements of harmony. I mean, like, she'll give us tickets, she'll put people in the seat. Little did they know that after all the accidents and the bloodshed, that they would wind up with fewer people in the seats than when they started.
But she's under contract, so.
She's under contract. It was a lifetime contract, in perpetuity.
She had a really good lawyer, apparently.
She had a really bad lawyer. Oh. She rented her stuff. They thought they were getting one over on her. Could tell that story. That would be justified.
Correct.
Yeah. We got anything else? Oh, yeah.
What happened to Miss Bussy?
Oh, I mean, that was a childhood toy.
Oh.
Yeah, full of bread. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
It's full of bread. Go ahead. Yeah, that's yeah. She's here to lore check you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He knows all the lore, is what he said.
Yeah.
He knows the lore, and we've forgotten it. So.
Yeah. This is.
It's not turned on.
Okay. Yeah. So this is one advantage we have of Scooter Trick is some people are actually way more into the show than we ever were. So people will like quote things and they know the lore and everything. And
We're talking about our own show. Like.
Yeah. Because I mean, one of the things is when you work on these things, like Rainbow Dash Presents was 30 minutes long. Mass episodes would be like 10, 15 minutes, and you'd be working on it. You hear your own voice like hundreds of times, or in Petarep's case, my voice.
Over and over again.
Yeah, Pinky shrieking at other people, and you'd be like, hey, Pinky! And then you have to go back and you do it over and over, and you're like, oh, does this line up, does this line up, does this line up? And you post these episodes, and they're no longer funny at all. You're just like, this is terrible. I hate this. Everyone's gonna hate this, but anyway, here you go. And you just kind of, and then everybody loves it, and you're like, I don't see it, but.
Then you give it a couple years.
Yeah.
You come back and like, oh, I haven't watched this since I made it. What happened to it?
Yeah.
And then you watch it like, oh, this is pretty good, I guess. I see why people liked it.
5 or 10 years later, it's like someone wrote a script full of jokes just for me. This person had my sense of humor. So, Yeah, it's fun to go back and watch them again, but for me, it's like, you know, years later, I watch them again. It's like seeing them for the first time. So I don't know the lore as well as some people do. In fact, they wrote me into a sing-along tonight at like 9 o'clock.
Is it tomorrow?
No, it's tonight. I'm going to do something with Koa at like midnight. Yeah, I'm going to be doing a sing-along. And I guess
the sing-along. Right.
Yeah, they're going to have me sing Sinking Ships.
Woo!
But I don't remember the lyrics. So I'm just gonna make it up. Yeah, that's all I got.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
yeah, they wrote
It's a whip, yeah, it's a special VIP mix, that's it. That's what I was thinking of.
VIP mix. Yeah, so you guys are gonna be in for a treat. I'm just gonna get up there and mumble it, Sinking Ships. Oh man. Funny thing about that too.
Fine Thrak.
What's that?
Fine Thrak. He probably knows all the lyrics by heart.
As
Cantos and Thrak. Thrak probably knows all the lyrics by
yeah.
heart.
They did come and talk to us.
Good.
Yeah, they're gonna do Tubby Wubby Pony Wipe.
I know. I love that song.
Yeah. So they'll probably know enough of it. I don't know. Yeah. I got a funny story about that too. But yeah, about the sing-along. I got contacted by Koa actually early on, and Koa asked if I wouldn't mind coming up on stage because her set involves a lot of parodies of the stuff that we've done. And I was like, yeah, because I've talked to Koa before. I'm like, yeah, Koa's cool. I'd love to help out Koa. And then I got a contact from BABSCON, and they were like, hey, would you like to come up and help out with the set? And I was like, yeah, I'm already on, like, absolutely. And then I found out it was a sing-along and I was doing karaoke, and we were talking about two completely different sets. So I never would have signed up for the karaoke if I had known we were talking about different people. I don't even know who Peekaboo is. I haven't been paying attention to the fandom. So yeah, but it's fine. I'm sure Peekaboo's cool. I haven't met him yet, but Babs is usually cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask what the inspiration was for the your reimagining of Pinky. I feel like all the other ones kind of like they like make sense based on the like Pinky's the one.
Okay. What do you think was the inspiration for Pinky? Do you have an opinion?
It was from a game, wasn't it?
From a game?
Yes.
The Voice. Yes.
The Voice.
Yes. That's actually a good memory. So The Voice, the Dawn of War series had like cultists that were like, oh, we will worship you. We will worship the dark gods, and in exchange, we will get their power. And so The Voice kind of came from that. But the inspiration from Pinky was that she was just so manic all the time. And even when she meant well, she seemed a little dangerous and like very hard to put in a box and just be like, please, Pinky, please don't invite everyone into my house and then feed me hot sauce. It should just be like, I'm sorry, but it's in my nature. But, yeah. So Pinky, our Pinky just became like this psychotic, like, I'm going to kill you, and you know.
And it just evolved from there.
It just evolved from there.
It's
yeah.
sort of like self-flanderizing, expanding, building on itself until it becomes just its own thing.
Yeah.
Until it becomes Count Pinkula.
Yes. Count. Yeah. The yes tick though, that one has an interesting thing. At one point in the very first episode when I was editing, I believe that there was like an extra little mouth flap that I missed. So Pinky she said a line, and then there was a little mouth flap, and I was just like, oh, I should put something. I didn't feel like going back and editing it, so I was just like, yes. And then that was so good, it just stuck. So
I've heard that story. That's the first time I've heard that.
So yeah, I gave my whole character thing.
Who are your favorite characters to voice and to write for?
I mean, Rainbow Dash was probably the most fun to voice, partly because we had this feedback loop where Pederep would draw Dash cuter, and then I would voice her cuter, and then he would draw her a little cuter because she sounded cuter. And we just kept going until she was just like the hag. I'm so happy to have so many wonderful friends.
That's right, because the original Rainbow Dash was like,
She was like
oh my god,
Yeah,
I did this.
I'm Christopher Walken. There's a little bit of gremlin in me, and yeah,
She really changed.
she changed a lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
So she just got cuter and cuter. So she was the most fun to voice because of that just constant like I gotta go cuter with this character. But actually, the most fun to write was probably Fluttershy. And people think that I hated Fluttershy, but that all came from like a place of love. Like Fluttershy was one of my favorite characters, especially in the early stuff, because the way she was originally is that you have this very shy character, and she's patient, and her method through life is conflict avoidance, and that's very normal. Like a lot of people have that. Like you avoid conflict, and a lot of times things blow over, and you're okay. And so that's not actually really anything that's wrong with her necessarily, but it's a weakness at times. And then in her focus episodes, she would get pushed too far and she would snap. She had like the eye, and I was joking with Peterep that one of the things that it seemed like would come of the eye was not that it was a magic power, but that if you pushed her after she gave you the eye, she was about to slap you upside the head. And so I joke, each and every one of her animals, they feared the eye because she hit all of them at least once. The Discord episode should have included that. That should have been like, she gives him the eye, and he's like, the eye has no power over me. And then she should have just kicked him in the chin. And he would have been so stunned. Like, then he would be like cowed, and the rest of the episode would be like, Fluttershy, you can't just hit.
Discord teaches her a lesson.
Yeah,
they teach each other lessons.
Yeah, they both learn a lesson. It's like, this is not an okay way to control the people around you. And they're like, I will try to hit less if you don't provoke me. Yeah.
So your Fluttershy doesn't do that.
Yeah, so my Fluttershy, I just took the teeth out of her. Is I just had the idea, like, so what if this character never, like, it was just pure conflict avoidance all the time, always. And anytime she got into a conflict, she was just like, oh no, and it would be like a meltdown. Inside her head, it's like Fluttershy's, you know, this is my worst dream. I'm naked, I never wore clothes in the first place, and everyone is looking at me and they expect me to say something to solve the situation. And I can't resort to violence. So yeah, Fluttershy was my favorite to write. She was fun. Being kind of the sad sack it's fun when you write it with love. And yeah, deep down, I love the character as much as we torture him. So.
And building off of that question to apply to art, my favorite one to draw is always Rainbow Dash. I mean, like, just it's so fun. But I like drawing all of them.
She's so colorful. She's just naturally like very well balanced. Yeah.
I think I did use an extra saturated rainbow palette for her hair because it was easier to grab in the color key than the actual colors, so that's why.
Yes, colorful, bright.
Okay, so you've already been doing the Melody Dance series for a while. How did you get the inspiration for Rainbow Dash Presents, like that version of Rainbow Dash, where you have remembered versions of like the worst fanfic the fan would ever see?
Yeah, this, with the years that have passed, and the way that culture has changed a little bit on the internet, it is a story that is, it's more difficult to tell. But, so back in like 2000 whatever, when Cupcakes was big, I mean, some of you probably know Cupcakes, but some of you, it was before your time. Yeah, don't look it up. So there were fan fictions that would go out of their way to create like the most brutal and terrible situations for the ponies to be in, because it was shocking and it would jerk an emotional response out of you. And then because it did that, they would be popular. They'd get up on Equestria Daily, they'd promote it, and everyone would be like, oh my God, have you read this fan fiction where Rainbow Dash is disemboweled by a velociraptor, and then it eats her wings.
It was also the time where, like, I think the fandom started on 4chan, so there was definitely
there was probably
a lot more edgy crap in there.
Yeah. So what actually inspired this was somebody had posted a fan fiction, and it was like a really bizarre, like Rainbow Dash wound up in like this really bizarre like sexual abuse situation, and so they were pushing it as far as they could go. And of course, Equestria Daily wasn't even going to touch that. But I read it, and what struck me was that the author was surprisingly like competent. So you could feel the emotions of the character, and it was just like, okay, this is like really horrible. But then I started thinking about like, this is cartoon horses, though, and like, if you really start thinking about like there are these horrible situations, like something always comes up in a cartoon that would normally save them from something, like, they get hit with an explosion and it's not like a life-altering event, they just turn into like a pile of ash and then the next scene they're fine. So I was thinking about like, how could this have been disarmed if like Dash had just been like, oh, I found this weird thing in my hoof today. And you would not believe, it took me like all this morning to pick it up. And so it was like this bizarre, like I was just thinking about like this bizarre situation that would be disarmed by the character being too dumb to actually be trapped in this situation.
Actually, be a pastel horse.
Yeah, just be a pastel horse with no real awareness of this. So once I got that, I thought like, well, I gotta like make something with this.
Thankfully, we did not adapt that.
But I didn't want to do that, yes, because that was too much. I mean, like even for the type of stuff that we did, because people would go and read the fanfics afterwards, so we didn't want to be like, yeah, go read this awful explicit like Dash is suffering from these things that are a little too heavy. So
Again,
instead,
SEO, you got to care about
well,
search engine optimization.
I mean, like again, it all came from a place of love. So it was just kind of like I would prefer people to be happy on some level after. So instead, we found Bubbles, and that was about Petter sent me some fan art, and then out of the blue, I was just like, hey, do you want to devote a bunch of your time to creating an entire series based on My Little Pony fanfic?
It turns out I did, I guess.
It turns out he did. And so, you know, it was just like a complete chance thing. And there we were.
It started off as like a picture book, I think is what like the idea was, that it was like these are like images in a picture book.
Yeah.
And like it was just like fading from one image to another. And
Yeah.
then it got more and more detailed and more drawings each time. So
Yeah.
it just evolved into what it was.
Until it became completely unsustainable.
Yes.
Yes, the amount of work that went in. Gosh, by the time we did Star in Yellow, we had a team for that. And it probably shows when you look at, we had like a background artist, like an audio engineer, and everything. And then that was around when they changed everything. So that was like our biggest project. And then everything started to tank, like immediately afterward. It was just like, oh, well. So
there's been, I think animation started to be able to be promoted on YouTube again, like the longer form stuff a little bit, but it fell off. Like
if you're like, all you got to do is make Amazing Digital Circus. Yeah. I mean, anyone can do that. Yeah. Or shoot, just make Hasbin. I can't believe no one else just made Hasbin. Yeah.
Equestria Primates.
Equestria Primates. Yeah.
You can do it.
That was a thing. Equestria Primates. That's one of these more obscure things that probably not everyone followed. Yes.
I always wondered, did you ever get like sued or harassed by Hasbro because of the comic, or?
Only through Content ID. The comic we never really did anything with the pony stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, Equestria Primates, which wound up becoming semi-intelligent, which is another one of these, like, Greg never names anything anyone can search.
No.
Like, semi-intelligent I thought was pretty clever, because it was like, it's semi-intelligent.
I like that
little
one.
intelligent.
That's good.
Yeah, it's clever. But everyone would tell me they can't spell it. They're like, where do I put that? Is it like SEM? They'd be like, no, like simian.
Is there a C in there?
Is there a C in there? Yeah. It was not an intelligent name, so no one could find it. But
it was semi-intelligent.
Semi-intelligent, yeah. It was kind of a spin-off. We were doing Equestria Primates, and then they were going to go to like Monkey World, and they were going to meet their counterparts. And like Rainbow Dash was working at a gas station, yeah. But then I wanted to just keep going with that, and there was like I had all this plan for like these weird urban legends. Like they were going to meet a time traveler who had a disease that made it to where you could get drunk on orange juice. And he was like an orange juice alcoholic, and they were like going to not believe he could actually time travel. But then at the end of the whole thing, he was going to give them like he was going to say something that he could only know if he came from the future. And then he was going to give them an envelope and be like, "Don't open this until like 6 years from now." And then they turn around and he would just be gone. And so, it was, you know, interesting stories and things like that. I worked with Tony Pencils, and you're familiar. He works for IDW now, I believe, unless he quit. I haven't really kept in touch with him very much. But part of what happened with him was that the man works like crazy. Like if you've ever seen a non-pie adventure, whatever, he did that for a little while. Yeah. And then he went on to be an artist for IDW. And he could churn out like content so fast. It was unbelievable how hard he worked at the skill level that he worked. But one of the big problems with how often he worked, how much he worked, was that he always wanted to do independent stuff, but he never has time. So he made Equestria Primates with me. We got one comic out, Mixoids, and it's a bit of a mess. because I did not really have any experience writing comics. And just because you can write a screenplay doesn't mean you can turn around and just write the comics. So I always want to have characters argue, and there's not enough space in a comic for the characters to have an angry back and forth about lasagna. Yes. Yeah.
I think this format works well. It's mostly text.
Yes.
We got a question.
Yeah, question there.
Is there a reason Rainbow Dash was promoted as the manager of the Rainbow Factory over Surprise?
How did she get promoted? That's a good question.
That seems like a question for our lore expert.
Yeah, why do you think she got promoted?
Well, who's the
Surprise.
other one?
Surprise is the
Surprise
one.
can't spell.
Surprise.
When it comes down to it, you gotta be able to write.
She's dyslexic.
Surprise is
Yeah, I mean
dyslexic.
Dash can't write either. I just, you know.
She's a little more confident about it. She's not smart enough to realize how dumb she is.
She has Twilight
Confidence
confidence.
really brought her in.
I can't believe this Rainbow Factory that murders children would discriminate against labor like that.
Okay, we got it. All right, we got it. So the reason why Dash was hired over Surprise was because Surprise was actually illiterate the entire time, and but she was honest about it because she believes that integrity is important to work. And so she came forward. She said, "Boss, I can't read or write." And they said, "Oh well, we got to pass you over." So they said, "Rainbow Dash, would you like to lead the Rainbow Factory?" And so she went to Twilight. Twilight didn't want to help her at first. She said, "Dash, you should learn to read." And she goes, "But if I work at the factory," or she's like, "Oh, you're right, Twilight, but I guess if I work at the factory, I'll be there all the time, and we won't have time to hang out anymore." So Twilight immediately helped her on her application. And that's how she knew exactly what to fill out, too. She had connections. Shining armor, so she got in there.
This is how lore is made, people.
Twilight got her promoted, yes. Yeah. So that's it.
There's your answer.
Yes, it's always, and that was always the answer.
Is there a particular episode that was the most fun or most frustrating to work on?
Most frustrating to work on.
Wasn't it the race one?
The race one?
Yeah.
Mass episodes. Yeah. For the mass episodes, the mentally advanced stuff, the early ones, the race episode was one of the worst because that whole series, like all I could do was take the characters and flap their mouths, you know. But through the race episode, they don't stop moving. So you can't just like flap their mouth because they're like in motion through almost every scene. So I only had like 3 scenes to work with, and I eventually just had to scrap the entire thing because otherwise it would just be like the introductory scene. And then I'd be like, okay, done. And I couldn't stretch it for 10 minutes. It was too hard.
It took you like a year and a half to do a version of that. I think you skipped it.
I
You just skipped it. Yeah. You had like a partial version and it was not.
Yeah, I just had to move on to the next one because it wasn't working. We did premiere what I had at BABSCON. Okay, yeah, so I did premiere at BABSCON. Yeah.
That was 10 years ago when y'all were 12 and
you guys were 12 and we told you not to watch our content and you did it anyway and now you're all messed up. Yeah.
Nope, there's a question.
I wanted to ask about Sweetie Belle.
Sweetie Belle. What's the deal with Sweetie Belle, aka Cracker's Eyes?
There's no deal at all.
Oh, you mean Taz?
Yeah. Sweetie Belle is perfectly normal. Yeah, so that's a big question because there's a lot of different ways we can answer that. I'll answer the one that has to do with why Sweetie Belle. Because a lot of people ask that. They're like, oh, I see Friendship is Witchcraft and the Mentally Advanced series both had Sweetie Belle go in a really weird direction. For my part, I had Sweetie Belle go the way that she was because I thought it was really funny that these 3 little characters were trying to fit into their society by getting the thing that makes them unique. It was like the most sophomoric kind of thing that they could possibly be doing. So I thought I would take one of the characters and just have that be turned all the way up to like, yes, hello, I am not from another dimension, and I am seeking my cutie mark to be like everyone else. You can trust me. So that was where that came from. As far as where Sherlock Pones came up with their idea, they stole it from me! They'll deny it, but they stole it from me. Yeah. I mind the dude first. We had a stinger where I specifically called them out with Thrakrazad. And I will maintain that they saw it, even though they may not have even been watching my stuff, and they stole my idea. But I can't prove it. Not in court, anyway. So,
There's this thing called parallel creativity, or what's the actual?
I don't believe it. Everyone's always like, how'd you come up with that idea? I'd be like, ah, yes, very funny.
Yeah,
But no one else follows my parallel creativity. Yeah.
It's okay, I still had another thing. It was just mostly the relation between Twilight and Thrakrazad.
Yeah, there was that bit of lore where there was like a demon in her house that she called Taz.
Yeah.
And
How
then
much does Twilight know?
How much does Twilight know? Nothing. She's oblivious to it.
yeah, she lets Sweetie Belle in her house.
That's one of those things. I won't specifically tell you like a direct answer, or I try to avoid it, because there is an answer in my head, but it's nowhere near as interesting as anything you might come up with in your head. Like, if I tell you, you'd just be like, oh, and like it would make sense, and you'd just be like, okay, and then it wouldn't be as fun anymore.
Yeah.
So,
We should ask you, what is the reason?
Well, that she doesn't know?
No, like what's the deal with Sweetie Belle?
Why is Sweetie Belle?
Why is Sweetie Belle the way that she is?
Well, it's part of the plan.
It's all part of the plan.
There's a plan.
Yes.
I knew it.
Killing Twilight's part of the plan, I think, still,
Mhm.
right?
I mean, yeah,
Is she
very-
still around trying to do that?
She's very small, Twilight very big. Yeah,
Oh, I
she's got
see.
bide her time. You know, eventually Twilight's gonna get old.
Oh,
And then she'll just get her with the pillow.
That's the plan, I see.
That sounds like it's an episode.
Why
There's no
hasn't she collaborated with Celestia? Well, I guess that's not in her, never mind.
So Celestia would figure a way out of it, yeah.
Maybe Thrakrazad's trying to take down the mob. And
No.
that
Absolutely not.
Absolutely
See,
not.
now we're just getting into worse ideas.
See, now you're set up to just tell them the truth, and then
No, absolutely not. Whatever you think, that's maybe what happens. If your idea is better than mine, keep it. Because
you got to hand it back.
In A Star in Yellow, what would have happened if Twilight had finished reading the book?
Sunshine would come out. Or not Sunshine. What was that Sunshine? What was it? What was the...
Sunshine did come out.
Sunshine did come out.
Wait a minute.
No, it was later. Was that actually her name?
That would be hilarious.
Was that the character?
Twilight
name?
finished the book.
We found some connecting lore. Twilight subconsciously named her child Sunshine because she'd read the Star in Yellow book and she remembered who was the sweetest little girl. I don't know where this name came from. Or filled me with happiness. or it is Sunshine. No, that's one.
So you're saying she didn't finish the book. What if, in not finishing the book, it splintered that character from the book to create Sunshine and Thrakrazad?
I feel like books should not get Tony's pregnant. This should be a line. And we just say this is not going to be. Yeah.
Although that could be the answer to the question. Who's Twilight? Who's dead?
We have the fandom has like the joke that Twilight is book sexual, and I guess if anyone was going to find a way, I don't need a man. Got my books.
I think we're cooking here. I think we should play with this.
I will never confirm that is the reason.
I think I saw another.
Yes,
Way in the back.
Oh, maybe there's someone there.
Oh, yeah.
Front row or second row?
You mentioned earlier your most frustrating episode. Do you have a favorite episode?
Favorite episode? Favorite.
Well, my favorite of the Rainbow Dash Presents is Bittersweet. That was the best cohesive one, start to finish, and I'm proud of that one the most. That's my favorite.
I feel like that's actually, yeah. If you look at the viewership too, I think that it was definitely one of the better ones. It was very well put together, and yeah.
So my favorite is not actually a full episode. It's actually the end of an episode. It's the one where what was it? Where like Twilight goes around, she ends up like kissing everybody, and then runs into the forest, and then you have all the monkeys.
Oh, that's yours. Yeah.
Yes.
Your fan fiction.
Oh yeah. That's right. I wrote a fan fiction and then parodied myself, which legally is not actually parody. So
it's a canon adaptation.
My
My favorite part of that is at the end when she's in the forest and you got that monkey beat going. Ooh, 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 ooh. Right?
Was that A Beautiful Day in Equestria? Is that what?
Beautiful Day.
Yes,
That's what it was.
Wow.
That was a short one. Yeah. The best part about Beautiful Day in
Oh my
Equestria is
God.
that at the end, we see like there's like a little romance between two orangutans, I think. I mean,
I'm so
my favorite part was that I was like, orangutan sits at bar, other orangutan approaches with banana,
What was
and then
that?
Peter looked at that and he was like, all right, so what does an orangutan do while they're at the bar? So he draws her reading a book. And then like later on we had the flashing lights and everything, and it's like, yeah, that's
Sure.
like, yeah, that's
Twilight.
yeah, yeah, like that's comfortable.
That was the proposal.
Yeah.
I'll do a shout out to investment losses
The
too.
Joker's not. I think that's what I found.
Well, that's kind
That was a short.
Yeah, that was animated.
Oh, that was the
Yeah.
that was the Aurora
But what
goes
was
to the
that
supermarket and gets lost.
No, yeah.
Wait.
No, that was, yeah.
She gets lost technically.
No, investment losses is, yeah, where she goes to the supermarket and she's like, investing in cereal is a very wise proposal, Mom. Yeah. We all love the heck out of Aurora. I got two things actually to talk about. The first of all, we all love the heck out of Aurora so much that we pretty much, everybody who did voices all had their own version of Aurora. We might have even had a version of her too.
Did I?
I mean, on occasion, it's infectious.
Do them.
Well, I mean, I have my own version of Aurora. I can't even remember who voiced her mom. It might have been Alan.
Probably. I think it was Alan. Yeah, it was Alan.
Probably Alan. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Well, you see, at the bottom of this box is a toy, and if you turn it upside down, you can harvest it sooner.
Really squeaky.
And invest
Yeah.
You invest
Yeah, whatever.
now.
I'm not doing it.
If you invest now, it pays off more later in the future. So when you get the yeah.
Additionally, it's a complete breakfast.
Yeah.
So it's good for me too.
Thankfully, these are not Bill Cosby impressions. These are Aurora
These
impressions.
are yeah. We don't.
They don't sound like it at all.
Not problematic.
It's not. Yeah, it's not Bill Cosby. We've never heard of Bill Cosby.
Nope. Don't know who that is.
We don't know who that is.
It wasn't an influence at all.
Oh, I had my thing. I didn't even get to the thing I wanted. So Aurora is really funny because the guy who voiced her, DeMarcus, he would struggle with his lines, and so we eventually wound up with Aurora because we were like, okay, so we need a character. Let's have our friend DeMarcus come in and do it. And he would stumble over his lines so much that he started doing voices, and one of them was just like, "Now you can tell me." And once he started doing that, it was okay for him to not get the line correct, and we could just finish the recording and go home. So we were just like, yes, that's the character. And so that was just what he did. And it was funny and fantastic. And then later on, we brought him back for that song, Annunciation Emergency.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Yeah. And that was one take. That was one take.
Oh my God, it was?
A single take.
Oh my God.
Which is why, like, he gets to one part, and he's just like, and I got one gun to replace the blade. And then there's like a pause, like the awkward pause. Because he realized he tripped over himself so bad, he didn't even know where he was in the song anymore. So while I was trying to find it, he just goes up the refrain, he goes, replace the blade! He just says it again, and then he goes right back into the next thing. So that was a lot of fun. Second thing though is not quite as funny. Aurora Dawn, she was actually the original character of the author of Rainbow Factory. And we kind of hijacked that character out from underneath her, and I felt very bad about this in hindsight. I mean, you can kind of laugh about it, but we took the character, and it was really funny, and we were having a great time with it. We weren't even thinking, and then we just like did more things with her, and everyone got to associate Aurora with us and what we were doing, and they were still using this as their screen name. So eventually, they actually contacted me and they said, "Hey, could you maybe, in the future, if you do anything with Aurora, just make a disclaimer that lets everybody know that this was originally my character, because nobody associated with her anymore." And in the course of doing all this stuff, I mean, like, we really did just always crash into things and just like, let's just do a thing, let's just go. But that was one of those growth moments in the whole career of that, where I realized that
Maybe we should have made it a different character.
well, yeah, we should have talked to them, or we should have always made sure that everybody knew that this was her character. And I don't know if they still use it, but at the time that they did. And I've been kind of a stickler about that ever since that happened. So whenever I do anything with other stuff, I get even a little upset with other people. I had a whole spat with one of our guys about it because it took like it took like a music thing, and then he did his own version of it. And I was like, you got to call this guy. and you got to tell him what you're doing. And
Was
make
that
sure
for
he's
the
cool
Good
with it.
Somewhere?
That was for Good Somewhere, yeah. And I was like, you got to do this, because if you become more popular than him, no one's going to know who he is. You're going to steal his stuff, and everyone's going to think it's only you. So you got to make sure, like, everybody knows when you post this video, everybody knows where you got it from, and let him know you did. He called the guy, and the guy was super cool about it. Like, he put his phone number at the end of all of his, like at the end of some of his songs or in his songs, which was kind of funny. So you could just call him. He was a bizarre guy. So yeah, so he just called him up on the phone, and he just had a conversation. He was like, hey, do you mind if I do this? And the guy was like, oh, that's so flattering. Yeah, like, go ahead. So at that point, though, it was cool, because he had a conversation with the guy. But yeah, big moment, I think, in the whole sphere of doing parodies and everything else. And yeah, we didn't always ask permission early on, but after that, we definitely always sent an email to people before we started on anything. So
The best projects are when the original artist is like, absolutely, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I actually want you to parody this, I hate this.
Yeah.
I hate that I made this. Rob Kakerman is
oh yeah, was that? Yeah, the guy behind My Little Dash.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was super cool about it. We met him at BABS once, but he was just like, he considered himself a genuine writer. I never really inquired as to whether or not he like made money on it, but he did. I mean, he was a good writer. For all of you who read his stuff and you're like, I felt this. The guy's genuinely a good writer, and he's done lots of writing besides My Little Dashie. But he was just like, yes. I'm well aware at this point that the thing I will be most famous for the rest of my life is probably My Little Dashie. He goes, do you know how long it took me to write that? He goes, I wrote it in one day.
And like the details, like he hadn't slept for like 2 days.
Yeah.
He was like running on just like exhaustion. He's just in a manic state and just wrote it all in one go.
Yeah, he was
it's very impressive.
Yeah.
That he did that.
Yeah, he was just insomniac, so he was already a good writer, and he was like impaired at the time, and he put it down, he put it out there, and he was like, there we go.
He actually deleted it at some point, I think, after he posted it. He deleted it, and people were like, put it back. Put it back up.
This has touched my heart. Yeah. So we made fun of it, and he was like, you guys are super cool. He's like, he goes, I am so mad. Yeah, but he's a cool dude. So, yeah, sometimes you get a good relation.
I see hand over here.
What was the deal with the small matches on roller skates?
Oh, God.
We were just talking about how we cannot remember.
It's on the DVD and the audio commentary. I remember we talked about it. I don't remember what we said.
Yeah,
but the answer's in there.
Yeah, we explained it in the DVD, but we have forgot. Because it was convoluted. It was like multi-steps. I think that Fat Man from Metal Gear Solid 2 was involved in some of the logic. Psycho Mantis might have been in there, but now I'm just extrapolating from like 10 years of no idea. Do you
So
remember?
this is a plug for the DVD.
I don't know.
Buy the DVD.
I
This
have
is
a
on
memory of
DVD.
mine, and there was like something else that's like, it's super obscure that no one would ever get.
Yeah.
It was like a reference, but I don't know if that was it.
Yeah, you would
I
never.
don't remember what that was.
It was only funny to me.
Yeah.
I was in charge, so I put in a joke that only I would laugh at. And then I forgot the punchline. I don't remember.
It's in one of your like talks with Greg videos, I think.
Yeah,
At some
yeah,
point, yeah.
I have explained it. Yeah, I've explained it multiple times and at every con, but now the years have turned the explanation to dust in my mind. I do not remember. But yeah, it's really weird, it's really obscure, and it won't be funny after I explain it to you. But it was funny.
You can go back and then you're like, who wrote this? This is funny. You can listen to your talk with Greg.
Yeah. No, this one's not funny. Even going back, it's not funny. Not funny anymore. I have no idea what I was thinking.
So we got 4 minutes left. We've successfully
4 minutes?
Yeah, we got 4
Did
minutes.
we kill it? Oh
We
man,
did
I didn't
it.
even have to go into a monologue.
No, we didn't. We can do probably 1 or 2 more questions.
Are you guys gonna keep making funny things?
Yes.
I think so.
Oh yeah, I was gonna hype you up. So we are gonna do another pony thing. The next one is longer, but it's Applejack. And fundamentally, it's just like Twilight goes to see Applejack, and Applejack is concerned about her stool. And the episode then is about what kind of stool is normal, Twilight, and then they discuss that for a little while, and that's the episode.
Quality content we
So
provide.
this is the kind of content we were joking about. Like originally, we were working on that before Babs, and I was like, I don't know if I want to premiere Applejack talks about her poop. So we did this instead, and then the Applejack thing will come out later.
Yeah. It was supposed to be like a fall seasonal thing, and then it stopped being fall.
Yeah.
Because I didn't finish working on it. I was busy with work, and then I'm like, oh right, it's no longer fall. I don't have the incentive to work on this, but I should probably do it. So thankfully you were like, yeah, let's do a different one. I'm like, okay, that works. I can do it now.
I strive to keep Applejack very mundane. Her life has barely changed. That's the message of the episode. Applejack is still working at the farm, and she's concerned about her food.
She's very normal.
Yeah.
Normal person.
Normal person, yeah.
Drivers, I would be jealous.
Actual normal, yeah.
What's the story with there's like apes in every short? What's the joke behind there? I never got that.
Oh,
Is there a specific reason?
Because humans kind of ruin some of the whimsy of the whole thing, basically. Like, I mean, there's a lot of fanfics that involve humans or where they go to a human world, and the whole objective was to make all the stories sillier and more cartoony. And by not including humans, it all just kind of, you get this, like, it's a little bit more absurd. So the monkeys were just like the closest thing we could get to humans without being humans. So.
Also, monkey funny.
Also, monkey is funny.
That's what I thought.
Yes, I love monkey.
I think we can do one last question maybe right there.
Can you talk a little about Pilaf?
Pilaf. Yeah. Pilaf. Man, Pilaf came out in a time, that was right around YouTube was kind of transitioning into that sort of the reviewers and reactions and stuff like that. And so there were like tons of those guys coming out. And it's funny because, and this is also a trap with YouTube, is that it always encourages you to make as much content as you can, as quickly as you can. And when you're doing stuff like, let me tell you what I think, or let me examine something, you have the tendency to just like say what you think and maybe fact check later. And so you might say things that are dumb. And when I was doing like weekly Let's Plays, I would occasionally say something very dumb. And I would like later on go back and be like, well, thank God everyone's probably going to forget about this in a couple of weeks because this is the dumbest thing I've said lately. So Pilaf was kind of that mentality of just watching them go, and like sometimes the commentators would say things and they would be like, they just got to make stuff. So I was like, well, what if I just did like Pilaf and I got up there and I just rattled off a bunch of opinions about the show. I didn't bother to think very much about what I was saying. And then like Pilaf, that's why Pilaf's head's on fire, because the idea was that Pilaf never really stops to reflect. So she has no idea that her head's on fire, and every time people like send her fan art of her head being on fire, she gets more and more angry. Because she's like, why do you keep drawing my head aflame? Like, my head's not aflame. So yeah, she's never reflected once in her life, but she has lots of brief opinions for now about things. Yeah.
All right, I think that's it.
That's it.
That's it. We're out of time.
I have a fanfic reading. Some of you might be aware of this. It's just called bad fanfic reading. What's bad about it is I didn't actually finish it. So I will read to you what I have if you care to hear that, and then I'm just going to make it up. So that's it.
It's a live Rainbow Dash Presents.
A live Rainbow Dash Presents.
Making it up as we go.
Yeah.
One last thing, if you're interested in checking out the Done Somewhere community, we have a Discord page. If you look up worldfamousartisan.com and then click on performative media, the link will be in there.
Yes.
Oh, we got a live link. Okay.
And we will be at the vendor table. I have a bunch of prints and a bunch of DVDs of the Mentally Advanced series. The last ones are in existence.
Yeah,
And
pay more. It's been so long from printings that the company I went through actually deleted the mass DVD off of their website. And I don't know if I still have the ISO. So these are the last mass DVDs that we've got. Once these are sold, as that's set.
But we have plenty of Rainbow Dash Presents.
Yeah, we got plenty of that. Yeah,
so you should get
buy
those.
some.
And prints. So come on and see us. At least I'll be there. You have a lot of panels after this.
Yeah, I got stuff. They were just like, can you do more? And I was like, yeah, okay.
Absolutely.
And then they signed me up for things. They signed me up for Scooter Tricks' panel and didn't tell Scooter Tricks.
That's next surprise.
Yeah.
So stick around for more Greg.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited to hang out and
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Have you ever introduced
I have no idea who any of you are.
I remember we did introduce ourselves. You can leave if you know who we are, but I'm Greg, this is Spencer, that's Human Mix, and this is Artisan. We are done somewhere. We're also just Petter does a lot of stuff as well. You should check out Cumberland.
Yes, by Ben Limpick. I did a music video. It's very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys so much. You were awesome. We love you. Enjoy BABSCON 2024. Woo!
Thanks for watching BABSCON 2024. Stay tuned for future BABSCON 2025, the final countdown for the final BABSCON. Be sure to bring a bunch of pillows, some comfortable PJs, and we will see you at the slumber party. Thanks for watching. Bye, guys. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe.